Did you know that the average American keeps more than 300,000 items in their home throughout their lifetime? For seniors who have lived in the same house for decades, this number is even higher. You can probably guess why. If you're over 65 and can't get through your garage, have closets you haven't opened in years, and want to organize the clutter but find it very difficult to do so, watch this video without missing it. You will both empathize and be amazed at what I'm going to tell you. I'm sharing the story of Donald Miller, a 76-year-old retired electrical engineer from Phoenix, Arizona. Listening to him will evoke very different thoughts in you. He lived in the same 223 square meter house for 48 years. He loved that house very much and was so attached to his home that he wouldn't leave there for years. After his wife Patricia died 4 years ago, Don's clutter problem went from manageable to overwhelming. The garage was full from floor to ceiling. Wherever he put his hand, there were items and clutter. The spare rooms were unusable. There was something everywhere. The dining room table hadn't been visible for 3 years. The main starting point of this chaos was the mindset, but now it had spread throughout his entire life. He didn't want this situation to become so heartbreaking, but he had already found himself in this state. His children had stopped visiting because there was nowhere to sit. Can you imagine? His family had stopped visiting him just because it was cluttered? When you imagine it, it's actually such a difficult situation. He wouldn't have wanted these things to happen, but they were happening. Then at 75, Don tripped and fell in his cluttered hallway, tripped over a magazine box he hadn't thought about moving for 5 years, and broke his wrist. He felt very bad. This feeling beyond physical pain made him sad for himself. No one was visiting him anymore. No one was worried about him. The clearest reason for this was unnecessary items he didn't need. While lying on the floor waiting for the ambulance, he was surrounded by items he hadn't needed for decades. Don decided, enough, he thought. He knew very well what he had to do. Over 6 months, using 9 simple steps, he cleared 3,175 kilograms of clutter, donated 32 carloads to Goodwill, rented 2 dumpsters, and transformed his house from a prison to a home. Doing this wasn't easy, but because he was determined, he did the best he could. If you think you can show the same determination as him, don't forget to mention it in the comments. And if you've experienced a situation where you showed such determination, subscribe, like, and comment. Let's continue. This isn't about being a minimalist. This is about recreating your entire life from scratch and even taking back your home when you're overwhelmed. This decision and what was done in accordance with the decision taken are very valuable. Stay until the end, because the 9th step prevents clutter from coming back. Think about how important that is. Now, let's begin. Step 1. Start with just 1 drawer. When Donald committed himself to organizing, his first instinct was to deal with the garage. This instinct wasn't in vain. He knew what he was doing, and he started without stopping at all. Boxes stacked 6 feet high. Who knows how many boxes were there? Tools unused for 20 years. Maybe he had even forgotten their names. Patricia's gardening supplies. His wife loved working in the garden. Looking at those tools reminded him of his wife, but they had been sitting in the same place for exactly 20 years, Christmas decorations from the 1980s. What was the point of still keeping them there? But now, this situation was beyond logical explanation. Furniture they thought about repairing, paint cans from projects decades ago. All of these were items that had lived a lifetime with him. It seemed incredible. Some 20 years old, some 25 years old, and some had been sitting in the same place for almost 30 years. He stood at the doorway, completely paralyzed. He froze stiff. He didn't know what to do. He had made this decision. He had. But the shock of all these things was upon him. Where do you even start with something like this? He was both asking himself these questions and thinking about how to start. His daughter Lisa gave him life-changing advice. Dad, don't start with the garage. Start with one drawer, the smallest, easiest drawer in the house. When he heard this, it was like lightning struck in his brain. Yes, his daughter was really right. Why should he start with the biggest? He should start with the simplest, smallest piece first. Donald chose the junk drawer in the kitchen. He had chosen a place that wasn't bad at all to start. The section that's in every American kitchen. Rubber bands, old pens, expired coupons, mystery keys, dead batteries, random screws. Whatever you looked for was in that drawer. It was like a small hardware store. It took 15 minutes to empty that drawer, throw away the trash, and organize what was left. That's all. 15 minutes. But when he closed it and saw it clean for probably the first time in a decade, something changed. He felt accomplished instead of overwhelmed. The secret to organizing when drowning in stuff isn't to start big, it's to start small. One drawer, one shelf, one box. Something you can finish in under 30 minutes so you feel success instead of defeat. That one clean drawer gave Don momentum. Step 2. Use the touched in 2 years rule. Don's biggest problem was emotional attachment. As soon as he picked up an item, he would find reasons to keep it. I might need this one day. This was expensive. Patricia loved this. Every item told a story, and letting go felt like betrayal. His therapist gave him a rule that cut through the paralysis. If you haven't touched it in 2 years, you don't need it. Period. 2 years. Not one day. Not what if. If Don hadn't used something, worn something, or looked at something within 24 months, it was gone. No exceptions. This was brutal at first. Don had kept boxes of electrical parts from his career just in case. He had been retired for 11 years and had never opened those boxes gone. Patricia's clothes filled a closet. Keeping them wasn't bringing her back. It was just keeping him stuck. He donated them to a women's shelter. Golf clubs unused for 6 years because of arthritis? Gone. Exercise bike unused since 2015? Gone. VHS tapes, when he didn't even have a VCR? Gone. The 2-year rule isn't heartless, it's honest. If you haven't touched something in 2 years, you won't. You're not keeping it because you need it. You're keeping it because letting go is hard, but keeping it is harder. Step 3. Take photos before throwing away sentimental items. Don was almost giving up at Patricia's chest. Inside were 40 years of memories, wedding dress, baby clothes, cards he had written to her mother's recipe cards, her grandmother's quilts. Giving up all of these was very difficult for him. Could he really do it? Don couldn't breathe. How could he throw away Patricia's memories? If he did this, he would feel like he betrayed the person he loved most in life, and this was causing him guilt. Even thinking about it was difficult. Lisa sat with him. Dad, you're not throwing away memories. Memories are in your head and heart, not in objects. But if you need the objects, there's a solution. She pulled out her iPhone. Take photos of everything before letting go. Wedding dress, baby clothes, cards, quilts, every item. Create a digital album you can view anytime without dedicating storage to a closet. He started thinking, would it work? Would just photos be enough? While going through these, he was also looking at all these memories and items. They took photos of everything one afternoon. Lisa digitally scanned the cards and recipes. Don decided to keep 5 items. Just 5. The rest were photographed and released. He struggled quite a bit doing this, but keeping a digital copy of all of them had calmed him down somewhat. He had gotten rid of all the items that could be excessive, but all of them had a memory, Now, he could open and look at them whenever he wanted. He kept Patricia's ring, one baby outfit from each child, and 2 quilts. The wedding dress went to a charity for military brides, baby clothes to a pregnancy center, extra quilts to his grandchildren. Doing these things, and the feeling of having done good for other people, made him very happy. After all, he had done something good for people. A month later, Don was crying while looking at the digital album on his iPad. Not from sadness, from relief. He could still see everything. He still remembered. But those items weren't consuming physical and emotional space. There was no situation that could stress him out. And he hadn't done anything to be sad about. For seniors drowning in emotional clutter, this is a lifeline. Keep the memory without the mountain. Items don't have to be with you physically. It's enough that they were certain periods of your life and that you remember. Step 4. Use the 4-box method. After getting past the emotional paralysis, Donald needed a system. His brother-in-law taught him the 4-box method that became his plan. He was curious about what this method would change. 4 boxes, clearly labeled: keep, donate, trash, sell. Every item went into 1 box. No, maybe pile. No, I'll decide later pile. One of the 4 boxes. Everything consisted of these boxes. Donald started with the living room. Every magazine, knickknacks, decorative pillows, all of them. One of the 4 boxes. He was ruthless. Magazines older than 6 months? Recycling. Knickknacks dusty for years? Donate. 14 decorative pillows when he needed 4? Donate 10. He was thinking, why am I keeping all of these and continuing his work? The donation box filled up quickly. Donald's rule. When full, it immediately went into the car and was taken to Goodwill that day. No second thoughts. No overnight thinking. Immediate action. Because waiting meant taking items back out. There was really no need to do this anymore. He wanted to continue what he was determined to do until the end. The 4-box method works because it removes ambiguity. You're making clear decisions about every item. Those decisions, one by one, transform the space. The house he lived in had now become completely different from before. That place gave the feeling of a living space, a home. Step 5. Do 30 minutes daily instead of marathon sessions. Donald had previously failed by choosing a Saturday, planning 8 hours of garage cleaning, getting tired in the second hour, giving up, shoving everything back, and swearing never to try again. While doing this, he gave up very quickly because he had big expectations and couldn't continue. This time, Lisa insisted. 30 minutes a day, set a timer. Work for 30 minutes. When it rings, stop, even in the middle of a task. Even if motivated, stop. Actually, he would understand over time how useful it was. Donald thought this was ridiculous. 30 minutes a day? It'll take years. Lisa did the math. Dad, 30 minutes a day is 3.5 hours a week. 14 hours a month. 168 hours a year. That's 4 full work weeks. And you won't burn out. She was quite confident in herself while saying these. She was right. Donald set a 30-minute timer every morning after breakfast. Some days a closet, some days a drawer, some days 1 box. But every day, 30 minutes of progress. He never compromised on discipline. Every day, every single day, he did it. The genius is sustainability. Donald never wore himself out, never felt overwhelmed, because the time was short but continuous. Daily action combined. After 2 weeks, 3 closets were cleaned. After a month, the spare room became usable. After 3 months, the dining table became visible. He hadn't struggled at all doing all of these and had reached what he wanted step by step. The 30-minute rule made it psychologically manageable. Donald wasn't organizing the house. He was doing his 30 minutes. This reframing changed everything. Because he also knew that if he wanted to break his old chains, he needed to weave new chains of order. Step 6. Invite an accountability partner. Donald hit a wall in the garage. It was too overwhelming. Every box triggered memories or decisions he didn't want to make. He avoided it for 2 weeks. He was thinking that all of these were his life and memories. Lisa suggested, "Dad, you don't have to do this alone. I'm coming Saturday. We'll deal with the garage together." His daughter was extending a helping hand to him because she was worried about him. Donald's instinct was to refuse, but he was embarrassed. He didn't want his daughter to see how bad it had gotten, but he was desperate. He accepted. This acceptance was difficult, but he had no choice but to do it. For 6 weeks, every Saturday, Lisa arrived at 9 a.m. with coffee and donuts. They worked for 2 hours. Lisa didn't judge, didn't criticize, just helped. When Donald got stuck, Lisa asked, "Dad, when was the last time you used this?" If he couldn't remember, donation box. And strangely enough, he couldn't remember when he used many of the items he was asked about. Having an accountability partner transformed the process because if he was completely alone, no one would help him, and he wouldn't be accountable to anyone either. He wasn't alone anymore. Someone encouraged him, made decisions easier, came weekly, regardless of whether he was motivated or not. This continuity made him very happy. Studies show that people are 65% more likely to complete their goals when they commit to someone. Don experienced this. On days he didn't feel like 30 minutes, he did it anyway, because he had promised Lisa. Saturdays he wanted to cancel. He didn't, because Lisa was coming. If you're drowning in clutter, don't go alone. Invite a friend, family member, or hire a professional organizer. Step 7. Rent a dumpster. For 1 week after 3 months, Don made progress, but had a problem. Trash was accumulating faster than the weekly garbage collection service could handle. Broken furniture, rotted wood, non-recyclable boxes, decades-old junk that couldn't be donated. His son suggested something radical. Rent an 18 cubic meter dumpster for 1 week. It would cost about $400, but it would force quick decisions. Don hesitated. $400 seemed like a lot. Then he did the math. For 3 years, he had been paying $150 a month for a storage unit holding items he never looked at. That's $5,400 wasted. Spending $400 to clean everything was a bargain. Studies show that people are 65% more likely to complete their goals when they commit to someone. Don experienced this. On days he didn't feel like 30 minutes, he did it anyway because he had promised Lisa. Saturdays he wanted to cancel. He didn't because Lisa was coming. If you're drowning in clutter, don't go alone. Invite a friend, family member, or hire a professional organizer. Step 7. Rent a dumpster for 1 week. After 3 months, Don made progress, but had a problem. Trash was accumulating faster than the weekly garbage collection service could handle. Broken furniture, rotted wood, non-recyclable boxes, decades-old junk that couldn't be donated. His son suggested something radical. Rent an 18 cubic meter dumpster for 1 week. It would cost about $400, but it would force quick decisions. Don hesitated. $400 seemed like a lot. Then he did the math. For 3 years, he had been paying $15. The dumpster arrived Monday, a massive metal container that could hold 2,721 kilograms. Don felt determined. 1 week. Everything he had been thinking about had to go now. That week transformed everything. Broken furniture, old mattresses, rusty lawnmower kept for parts, moldy books, broken desk, decades of just-in-case items. The dumpster filled up quickly. By the fourth day, it was 3/4 full. His children helped load the final items. On the seventh day, the company hauled it away. Gone. 2,721 kilograms from Don's past, permanently removed. Standing in his empty garage for the first time in a decade, Don cried, not from sadness, from freedom. Sometimes you need to make a radical move. Rent the dumpster. Give yourself a deadline. Force the decision. The temporary pain of letting go is nothing compared to the permanent relief of space. Step 8. Digitize everything possible. Don still had one major clutter category: paper, decades of documents, photos, tax returns, medical records, warranties, trivial mail filling 3 filing cabinets. Lisa brought a document scanner from Amazon for $120. Over a month, Don scanned everything important: tax returns, medical records, documents, old photos. Everything was digitized, backed up to the cloud. Paper was shredded or recycled. 3 filing cabinets, empty. Don donated 2, kept 1 for truly needed physical documents. The rest was digital, searchable, taking up 0 physical space a month for a storage unit holding items he never looked at. That's $5,400 wasted. Spending $400 to clean everything was a bargain. Don also tackled 40 years of family photos. Shoeboxes full of prints, old albums, loose pictures stuffed in drawers. His grandchildren helped him scan them all. They created a shared Google Photos album where everyone could access the memories. The best photos were printed and framed. The rest were digitized, originals recycled. Digitizing isn't just about saving space. It's about making memories accessible. Don can now look at 50 years of photos on his iPad from his chair. He doesn't need to rummage through closet boxes. If you're holding on to paper for information or memories, digitize it. Technology is cheap, easy, and liberating. Step 9. Create a one-in, one-out rule to prevent clutter from coming back. 6 months after starting, Don's house was transformed. The garage had space for his car. For the first time in 20 years, spare rooms were rooms. The dining table was clear. Children visited regularly. Grandchildren wanted to come. But Don knew the danger. He had cleared the clutter, but without changing habits, it would come back. So he implemented the final rule that keeps his house clean today: one in, one out. If Don brings something new into the house, something old goes out. New shirt? One old shirt is donated. New book? One old book to the library. New kitchen gadget? One old gadget to the donation pile. This isn't about deprivation. It's about balance. Don can still buy things, receive gifts, live his life. But he's conscious of what enters his space. Every item must earn its place. The one in, one out rule also makes him a conscious consumer. Before buying, Don asks, what am I willing to remove to make space for this? Usually, the answer is nothing, and he doesn't buy it. Impulse purchases have dropped to almost 0. 2 years later, Don's house is still clean. He does 30-minute organizing sessions weekly to maintain no more dumpsters needed. The donation box in the garage fills up monthly and goes to Goodwill. His space stays breathable. The one in, one out rule is the difference between organizing once and staying organized forever. Final thoughts. Donald Miller is 76 years old. 2 years ago, he was drowning in 50 years of stuff. His house was so cluttered, he tripped and broke his wrist. His children avoided visiting. He felt trapped in his own home. Using 9 simple steps over 6 months, Don cleared 3,175 kilograms of clutter, donated 32 carloads, rented 2 dumpsters, digitized 40 years of photos and documents, and transformed his 223 square meter prison into a home where he could breathe. Start with one drawer. Use the 2-year rule. Take photos before throwing away sentimental items. Use the 4-box method. Do 30 minutes daily. Get an accountability partner. Rent a dumpster if needed. Digitize everything possible. Create a 1-in 1-out rule. These 9 steps aren't magic. They're a system. But for seniors drowning in decades of stuff, overwhelmed about where to start, this system works. If you're over 65 and your home has become a museum of things you don't need, don't use, or don't want, start today, not tomorrow. Today, 1 drawer, 30 minutes. That's all it takes to begin. Your home should give you peace, not stress. You deserve to live in space, not clutter. Don did it at 75. You can too. Thank you for watching Don's story. Comment below which step you'll start with today. If this video gave you hope, please like, subscribe, and share it with a senior who needs this message. Your future self, living in a clean and peaceful home, is counting on the decision you make right now. Make it count.